The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. Welcome to the podcast. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast. Second episode of the week. That's how we do it. We're going to be honest with you. If you listened to yesterday's episode, it was just a couple hours for us.
You told Mom.
I always am honest when it comes up. I never try to fake it like we're doing it like the next day. This is the same day, but it's just a different flavor. And honestly, we just got warmed up earlier.
Yeah, the last
Right?
one, skip that one. Just go straight to this one because this is us on fire.
If you can go do like an eternal sunshine yourself to forget it, that would, if you already heard it, God forbid.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one to listen to because one's going to have a lot of meat to it.
Would you do that? Eternal sunshine yourself? For any reason?
Oh yeah, there's been times. One time that comes to mind because I just got done talking about this in therapy, and then before that in an interview because I just talk about things I talk
like the
about in
same
therapy. It's the same thing. I have no boundaries with anyone, whether
I
they're
can't
a
imagine
reporter.
your therapy sessions being much different than this podcast, other than you name
They
names.
ain't. Who did I just talk to that said the same thing? And they said, whenever I go to therapy, they're always like, who the fuck was it? That's so upsetting because it was the first time I've ever heard someone else say that because I've been to therapists before and they'll be like, Nikki, I just want to say thank you for revealing that to me. And like, this is a safe space. I just want to remind you. And I go, oh, I literally just said it an hour ago. Like I workshopped it before I got to you, to thousands of people, at least. You know, who knows? But they're always like, really? There isn't much difference. Yeah, it's a little more detailed. In fact,
Sure.
I left the cameras going for the first episode. Like I forgot to hit unrecord. I think it's also known as stop. And I left it on for an interview. And then for the therapy that followed the interview, which I needed a lot of therapy after the interview because the interview I like said a lot that I was, and it's a very high profile piece. And it was so great. Well, I was being interviewed by a celebrity, and I would play the guessing game with your thing, but it already
Akinator?
failed for the celebrity. Yeah, the Akinator already failed this person.
Yes.
And so I know it won't reveal him or her. And so
I just want to clarify, the Akinator is not my thing. I didn't make it. I did not stand by it. After it failed me twice on this podcast, I fully retract my endorsement.
You talked such a big game for it.
It was
initially.
There's been some times where it's blown my mind.
I'm
and
sure.
these two times it's blown my mind in reverse. It's put my mind back together.
But so it was. I was talking in the interview about a moment that I wanted to eternal sunshine, which is like when I read something about myself on Reddit that I had only ever thought about myself and never had anyone even slightly say to me to my face or had ever read in a comment. It was just like a thing I'd noticed about myself that I'm mostly insecure about. I won't even hint at what it is because I don't want anyone to ever use it against me. But I when I read that comment, I almost was like hyperventilating. Like I couldn't, the feeling that was going on in my body was so uncomfortable. It felt like I was burning alive. Like, and I just, all I wanted to do was go back to a time where I didn't see that comment. And then I eventually got over it a couple of years later. But, that was a joke, but it really took me a while. It took me like months to unsee that. What about you? Would you want Eternal Sunshine?
I didn't take it as a joke because it would take me a couple of years sometimes to get over some things like that. I've recently learned like I need to chill with trying to find feedback on the internet. Like I need to chill.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's drinking. It is smoking weed. It's doing heroin. It's shopping addiction. It's an addiction. If you're someone who has comments about you out there on the internet and you read them, there's no good in it. You can keep convincing yourself you're looking for feedback. You can keep justifying it like you do with drinking. But it's my birthday. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's never gonna go well.
It doesn't. I went nuts when Tim Dillon This Is Your Country came out, and I've read every single comment,
That's insane.
every single tweet. I've read every single thing that was written by even if it was a bot, I've probably read it.
Right.
And it drove me insane. I think
I
want
to apologize for some of that stuff I wrote because I was in a bad place. I was jealous that night. And I didn't, I'm glad you didn't trace my name. No, I can only imagine. But imagine how Tim feels. I'm sorry to take away from you and your pain.
Yes.
Sometimes I read things about my fellow comedians and I go, good Lord, I hope they don't see this. And I'm not talking just about Tim Dillon, even though his fans are
Insane.
not nice.
No.
Because believe me, I joined the Tim Dillon subreddit because I am a fan. Didn't know that it was all people who love him so much that they hate him.
Yeah, well, that's very common. I mean,
I know. I saw it with Howard Stern too. Same thing happened in his subreddit. It's a toxic place, and does Tim read comments? I don't know if he does or not.
I don't think he does. If
he's alive and hasn't offed himself, he
releases a podcast.
He doesn't read comments.
He releases a podcast every single week, plus a Patreon episode every single week, where he says some things that a lot of people would be upset by. So if he's reading his comment by now, I think he's sworn off reading the comments because it's just like, what's the point? You're going to piss off so many people every week.
It's not even no. I mean, yeah, you're right. The people he pisses off, he would probably enjoy that because he knows what he's doing in that regard. But I'm talking about people that attack your character, or not even your character, your just are just brutally cruel in ways that you would only hear at like a roast where you have been paid $1 million to be there and you've agreed to it. Like no one should ever read these things about themselves.
Right.
Even at a roast, I argue you shouldn't have to hear the stuff about yourself. It's so painful. But I think
I honestly don't think he reads any of them. I
don't think he would either because
I can't even really imagine him sitting there reading it.
No, and you know what? Because he's evolved.
Yeah,
I think Tim Dillon is because he's smart, and he also it would stand in his way, and he's a successful person.
Yeah,
he's it is a hindrance to you. That's why he doesn't do drugs anymore. That's why he doesn't drink. I would guess it's the same reason why he doesn't read comments. He's learned that there is no good in there.
No good.
There's nothing good.
I didn't learn from that yet. I have not learned that lesson fully. It's not ingrained in me.
Neither did the person I just interviewed. And I interviewed with this girl interviewed me, and we were talking about comments, and she said, "Yeah."
Was she ever in a YouTube channel?
You just surreptitiously start inserting Akinator questions, trying to get at it again, giving it a second chance. But no, because she was like, sometimes I read the comments and I go, no. It's not a sometimes. It's a never. Because she's someone who also has dealt with like addiction. And I'm like, it's like drinking. You don't get to even do a sip. Yep. This isn't about like one beer. You can have one beer. And by the way, it's never going to be enough. And it's just I literally was like, I almost got, it went from being like a fun conversation to me being like, you don't understand. This isn't a joke. Like, you have to stop. and I really believe that. I think this is my new fucking pedestal, is to stop. If you feel that social media is harming you, you gotta put it down. You gotta uninstall Instagram from your phone. Not forever. I'm not saying, but I think if you're a celebrity comments, you really have to say goodbye to it forever.
Yeah, I think if you're a celebrity of a certain stature, someone else should be just handling your social media, and you shouldn't even be thinking about it.
I mean, I told Emily to just tell me, Gen ZM. My new thing is like, I saw, she told me like, someone came up in conversation. She goes, she comments on your stuff all the time. And I go, okay, the next time she has a post that you think I would have something nice to say, send it to me and then I'll comment. So like, because that's the thing I miss out on is like, I like to see nice things and then write back to their stuff.
Right.
And I want to be interactive and write back to their comment.
You know what? Why?
That's because I like being nice.
The question is, why has social media not invented a filter for that? Positive
they have
comments
a filter
only.
That you can put certain words in. And I put, one time I like screen recorded it when the feature first came out and I made a joke about it. And I just put like cunt, not funny, horse face. And then I put, what did I do? I did a really funny one that was like a misspelled, or it was like, you're not funny. And it was YOUR. So it only was getting people that would spell it wrong out, which I thought was like a nice way of saying like, I don't care about your opinion if you're dumb. But if you say you are with apostrophe, we're game. But yeah, you could put certain filters for words, but that just,
But I want there to be negative. like an AI, a positive use of AI that will read all the comments and delete anything that's negative so that you're only seeing positive feedback. I mean, I guess if you're going to read the comments at all, then it's not beneficial to you. But wouldn't it be nice if it just served you the nice stuff?
Yeah, I would love to just know about Paris Hilton's
Instagram
fire emojis, or J-Lo's been liking my stuff, and I find out later from Emily. But yeah, but it might be nice to get a little alert on my phone for that, or be able to like enjoy that in the moment and not go, oh, that's cool. 2 weeks ago that happened. Oh, that's cool. Like, because I just can't. But I can't do it. It's just it's. I probably could have a glass of wine and have a really fun night, but I don't want to risk it.
No, you can't.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It really
I've been thinking
isn't.
about getting back into weed a little bit.
You were into weed?
Well, when I was in high school, I smoked weed every day, like the song said.
Oh. It was instructional. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was weed was different back then.
Yeah. I mean, my big fear with weed is that, when I smoked it every day, it made me kind of slow and dumb because I was smoking too much.
Right.
But I do kind of feel like I could use something to make me chill. Like I need to calm down.
I would never recommend weed to anyone except
For
you
any
right
reason?
now.
Except me.
You did. You got to wait for the joke. Except you right now. I'm serious. Your brain is so good, Brian, and I value your brain. Your brain literally helps my career immensely with all the things we work on. So I would never recommend something that I ever think would addle your brain in any way. Weed, a little bit here and there, I think would be very medicinal for you. And that is me saying that as someone who's not a medical professional in any way. And it could really ruin things. But I don't think you are someone that is an addict and would use it in that way again. Your career is too important to you.
Are you thinking of
right now.
smoking it or eating?
Well, I think
interesting.
I would be interested in taking like a weed mint or something like that.
Dude,
Okay, so
yes,
that is
do it
wait,
right
hold on.
now.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Well, this
So-
is not a debate.
A single
You could
piece
do
of
it, but
weed
just be
mint.
careful not to eat too much, because then whatever you're anxious about or like in your head about, it'll just get amplified. That has been my experience.
That's why I'm saying you should smoke it, because edibles make me think too much. But
Yeah.
smoking, it's like immediate like release for me at
Yes.
least of tension.
Yeah, I think that's what I need because I'm so anxious all the time, and I have
Get a vape.
I was reading
Get a vape.
article. I was reading.
Advice.
I'm actually going to I'm going to do a big Al about vaping. It's my next big
Vape
Al.
weed every day. Yeah, I really think you should.
And
Not every day, but yeah.
Not every day, but like it's a couple of times a day. I was reading articles about like you microdose shrooms, and that became very popular for a while. Mm-hmm. Well, there have been some studies about microdosing weed and doing like a very, very small amount of weed just to kind of like.
I know people that do it.
And how do they feel?
So I gave some people very close to my life some of my vapes that I just like lose vapes all the time, and then I find them, and I just have like a ton of these weed vapes with like a ton of juice in them because I don't need much to feel good. And I gave them. I said, you just need like not even a full hit. Do not even just keep it in your mouth. Just absorb it through your gums. Like don't even involve your lungs. Like. Just one, because it's so fucking strong now, and especially if you haven't smoked weed for 20 years or whatever, or however long it's been, you're younger than me, 15 years, just half a hit of a vape pen, I'm not kidding, or a little disposable vape will make you feel immense relief, and it will not turn into a toxic habit that I think, I just know you, I just don't predict that it would.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm very interested in doing. I think it actually will be helpful to me, and it won't make me too dumb, because it really did make me stupid. I have my SAT scores like tracked to when I stopped smoking weed.
Whoa.
And it went down, and then I stopped, and it went up.
No,
after
I definitely, during COVID, I was smoking weed every day. And pretty much 2018, I smoked weed a lot until September, and I had to do Dancing with the Stars, and then I like could not. I couldn't learn dancing and smoke weed. But I've gone through many years of my life doing it every day, and it does make you dumber the more you do it.
But then
in moderation, a little hit. Come on now.
Well, you know what'll make you dumb is having a low-key stress and anxiety that just keeps ratcheting up forever.
Dude, it's having just that relief of that, like it for me, and I don't think this is for everyone, but for me, weed will just like take me out of this moment of panic I have and just make me instantly like, okay, everything's fine. Like, and I know that weed is a highly addictive substance. It ruins lives. People can easily not easily, but people do get very addicted to weed. And it's disassociative. It's not something you should do all day, every day.
It doesn't solve your problems either.
It doesn't, but if you know what, like, it's just a little, I think, and I don't want, I'm endorsing this a little too much, but for you, Brian, I just knowing your character and how you handle things, and even with sports betting, remember when you were betting on sports and the second you were like, this is making my life bad, you stopped, or like at least you
well, I took a break.
Okay, so you know how to manage this stuff.
Yeah,
it's not unmanageable. You're not like an unmanageable addict. And I think that there's the people that I've given these vapes to. I didn't finish my story because I vape weed, but they have told me that it has been helpful.
Yeah,
and just a little, and they're not craving it the rest of the day, and it just makes things a little easier. And I will say, every dad I know just like eats edibles and plays with their kids, and like that's what makes them like be able to do that.
It makes sense.
Every night they get home from work, and it's like a treat, and then they're like interested in Legos suddenly.
I mean, that sounds amazing,
doesn't it?
That's the only thing. That's the only time I've ever heard like, oh, I guess I could be a dad. Is hearing that story.
I felt the same way. I was like, so yeah, I'll be interested to hear how that goes. Is that what
our dads are doing? I mean, what?
I mean, my dad, I think, was just drinking and smoking, but my dad never like got wasted ever. No. I've never seen him like truly fucked up. Maybe a little bit, but never like to the point where I'm like, you're embarrassing. But weed wise, my parents on weed, which they'll be so mad that I'm even talking about this. Sorry, mom and dad, you've smoked weed before. I know it. We all know it. And they call it getting off. They say I got off on that.
Whoa.
Disgusting.
Is that a boomer thing? Or is that
it's
just
like
them?
A 70s term for like 1973 Cincinnati. That's what they were saying, I guess.
I got off on weed.
How'd you get off on that? Oh, I got off on that hit. Like
wow.
That's what getting high is to them.
Yeah.
But
in New York, they would say I jizzed all over myself on that.
Yeah, that was our cool nomenclature, and we all knew what it meant. But when my dad gets stoned, he gets sentimental, and it's really irritating when you're not in the mood to like cry about a family video or whatever. And then my mom, when she gets off, she starts filming. She turns into Gen Z M and wants just to film me nonstop. I'll be like, because my dad then my dad's sentimental and he's crying about something or like remembering a fucked up memory of his childhood. And then my mom is sitting there filming. And it's just the weirdest. And I go, Mom, stop. And we're like, why do you always film when you get high? Like, it's so funny. She turns into like, remember that show that never mind, it doesn't matter what I was gonna say, but anyway, she turns into James Cameron. I'm gonna choose him.
She films you, and then she shows it to your, and then she shows it to your dad, and then your dad starts crying about the moment that happened 5 seconds ago.
And then it just cycles like that. But if I go through my mom's camera, sometimes I just see hours of footage.
She's just filming,
just
filming,
blurry, like her lens is smeared because I know they had a good time and they took a little edible and they got off on it and they had some fun. They were watching Bill Maher and then they played music and then they filmed each other crying.
You're a fan of this. I mean, you've done, you know Rob Stern, my friend.
I love Rob Stern.
So he frequently, if we're just hanging out or something, he'll frequently secretly film the hangout just so that we can get like a natural. Like, here's
funny
the memory of it without us all acting fake.
I love that.
You've done that a couple of times.
I would kill. I'm trying to make content. I'm not trying to make memories. No, I told that to I would kill for recordings of me and my friends from back in the day, or even now. It's interesting that I can't really contextualize it now and say I want to look back on this time with my friends and record a candid moment, but. My friend the other day was talking about how her daughter just constantly talks. She's like 4 years old and she's just always talking to herself and I'm going to do this and then the prince is going to come over here and then like no matter what she's doing, she's playing, she's like monologizing all the time. And I said, just take your phone, hit record and just leave it next to her. And she will cherish that audio someday when she is an adult so much to hear your baby voice just like going free, like just free associating for an hour while you're playing kitchen. It would be so cute to hear. And she's like, I gotta remember to do that. But moms are so busy. They're like, I'm not trying to like make a future podcast right now. So I think I'm just trying to survive.
That also
but yeah,
feels
that's
like
cool that Rob does that.
That also feels like the start of a horror movie where you go back and you listen to it, then all of a sudden you hear like whispers in the background of like a demon.
Oh my God, if you're like,
Oh, that's good.
your imaginary friend who's really evil. Wait, when have I done that? When have I secret
you did it at the
recorded?
Sphere when I was dancing to you too.
Yeah, that was exactly. I was trying to make
that
content.
was for content.
That
yeah,
wasn't
okay,
me
so
to be
you
like,
don't do
look
it.
at what fun we had at the Sphere.
You know what? I wish we would have. I don't want to say which.
I don't know what, but I'm going to go to break and we're going to find out right when we get back. Okay, we're back. What is it?
After I just stumbled into break, I don't wish, but it would be nice, a moment that I would have liked to have recorded that we shared.
Oh, I know.
You already know which one it is?
Catchphrase.
Yes. When we were playing Catchphrase.
I've never made Brian laugh that hard.
That was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
That's so funny because I wasn't trying to be funny.
No, that's why it was so good.
That sucks. No, it doesn't. It doesn't suck. It just is like it. As a comedian, when you're like when your friends laugh at you, when your comedian friends who you admire laugh at you, and you say like, and they don't. You're like, I don't always crack you up in the way that you're.
I'm a tough laugh.
Yeah, but I respect it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then the time that I do, and it's not even intentional, is just like, damn it, like, okay. But it also makes me feel good because it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm naturally funny.
Yes, well, absolutely. This was like pure, like, this was like Nikki Glaser heroin funny. This was just like
Oh, dear.
finding the cure, finding the...
Do you remember what I said?
Yes, I remember exactly what you said.
Catchphrase? It's a game?
Brian, you could describe it.
Catchphrase is... it's like a game where you have this disc and it has categories on it and you have to describe the things that pop up on the disc without saying the words on the disc, and then you pass it around in a circle and you can have teams or not.
Okay,
it's sort of like Heads Up, Heads Up?
Is that where you hold the phone to your forehead?
Yeah, you hold the phone up to your head.
Yeah.
Heads Up kind of destroyed Catchphrase because Catchphrase was very popular in the 90s and early 2000s, and it was like this circular disc, and it was electronic. Before it was electronic, it was like a little paper disc that you would actually click and it would go through. And the downfall of Catchphrase was because it was this electronic thing not connected to the internet, it couldn't update its words.
Yeah.
So then when they came out with apps that were a similar game where they could constantly come out with new words, Catchphrase pretty much went extinct.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're fun to
But we
break out
had
because
it.
they have like old references and they're like stuck in a time.
Yes. And then,
But we had
what's
it.
funny about it is that you can do one of the categories you can do is decades. You can have a bunch of words from the 70s, and it's like Afro, and you have to try to get people to guess Afro.
Getting off.
Getting off, yeah. But then they also had 2010s, but this Catchphrase came out in 2014. So all the 2010s clues are like so not 2010s in our mind. Like they're so off.
Right, because they're in the decade, so they
They're
got
in
it
the
wrong.
middle. Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
what's 2010s? And it's like something very specific from 2011 that nobody remembers anymore.
Like it's like the Harlem Shake or something, and you're like, what?
Exactly.
That was like the first meme dance, and we've all forgotten. It was a huge fucking deal at the time.
I've even forgotten big things. Like I barely remember like Gangnam Style. Remember how big that was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was
I mean-
huge. That was like I think the first
God.
like YouTube video to hit 1 billion or something like that.
Yeah, this makes me kind
But
of
anyway,
depressed about
why?
like the passage of time because there's so many things like if you remember back from like the 2010s where they seemed so important and huge at the time, and then you look back and like Gangnam
It
Style.
makes me happy. Nothing
that?
matters.
Well, yeah.
You're massive. Like if I do something, it's a massive failure. Everyone will forget. It doesn't matter. If it's a
Yep.
win, they'll forget. If it's a lose, they'll forget. It's all going to end up on a catchphrase, collecting dust. Well, they don't make them anymore, so I guess I'll never be on like a man-made catchphrase. I think I'm probably famous enough to be in
Absolutely.
an app one now. I would hope so.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? You're way beyond
You were
that.
like in the
You've been on
Scrabble.
Jeopardy. You've had Jeopardy clues. You've had a New York Times crossword puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
crossword
that's
puzzle.
true. But catchphrase is for dumber people, and those are for people. Those other two are the people paying attention. And catchphrase is more general, and it's like more, I would say, household names. I don't think I'm quite that yet, but I'm okay with that. So we were playing catchphrase, and we kept getting yelled at by the production because they were trying to shoot like, Fboy Island dates, and we would be like, ah! Like the screams, like we were watching a football game, and like because the timer would run out, and we were just screaming.
But it was me, you, the hair and makeup. Your who you also sometimes get to do hair and makeup now.
Yeah, Leia. Oakley,
and then the wardrobe.
and Stacy from Wardrobe, whose last name I just had to look up because someone asked about her. Stacy, if you're listening, I gave your name to someone, and I forget her last name now, but she's amazing, and I love her.
She's very good. And we were playing catchphrase, tossing it around the circle, and like Stacy was sitting on the ground, like not really facing us and sort of not playing. And but me, you, and Leia were playing. And then,
Okay.
Stacy tried to interject at one point, but then Leia kind of said something over her, and she didn't get to interject. And then you go, you go. I forgot exactly what you said. You go.
You missed your shot, razzle dazzle or something.
You go. You miss your shot. You get trampled, bitch. Razzle dazzle. You get trampled, bitch. Razzle dazzle. Just thrown in at the end.
Trampled, bitch. Razzle dazzle. It was and you like couldn't. It was so gratifying. You were laughing so hard for so long. It felt like I was. That must be like how Kirsten feels.
Yes.
It just was so nice. Even though I'm a comedian, I should know what it feels like. But to make someone laugh on a thing you have not planned, feels just so amazing.
So I would like to have that memory recorded, and I feel like that makes me think of like a reverse Internal Sunshine, which is like, wouldn't it be nice if you could have like every single moment in your life recorded, or at least accessible in your brain?
Yes.
So you can go into a room and be like, do you want to act? They did this in Minority Report. And I do believe that it's true that every single memory that you've ever experienced is in your brain somewhere.
In there. Yeah.
It's just the neuronal pathways to get to it are completely decimated.
But we also remember things the wrong way. So
like
the memory you
super
had
negative?
is definitely not the way it happened.
Well,
like,
that's
we
you
know
can
that.
retrain. They call it the golden scissors. You can retrain your brain to convince yourself that something that happened one way happened another way by just continually remembering it that way over and over again until the fake memory becomes stronger than the actual memory.
O.J. Simpson
did
not kill his wife, and I think he truly believed it.
That's probably true. Yeah,
I really think he believed it.
Yeah. So like,
because you say it enough, you just start to,
and you think it enough. So if you're like, Jerry was at that party. Jerry was never at the party. But if for 10 years you're thinking Jerry was at the party, Jerry's at the party, and then you see Jerry and you're like, you remember when you're at that party? And he was like, I was never at that party. I was in Ethiopia on
it's wild when that stuff happens to you.
Yeah.
Where I'll be like, no, there's no way you weren't. And they're like, there's no way I was, and here's receipts. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with my brain?
Yeah,
It's happened a lot. It's disturbing. But what event would you I'm trying to think of other events I'd recall. It's all just funny stuff. It's all like really funny. You had to be there moments. I think I would pull up.
This is kind of cliche, but I would definitely go back to my wedding. I would go back to dancing at my wedding.
Oh.
Yeah, I would go. There was a moment when I was in college where I was just like it was freshman year, first semester of college, where I was in like the shared shower in the dorm. And I was just for some reason so happy and optimistic and excited. It was like that college freshman sort of like optimism. I have not been able to recover that optimism since then. And I remember this moment exactly where I was just in the shower and I was like, everything is going so well. I love my life so much. College is awesome. I love I'm so hopeful for the future.
Yeah, you need to smoke weed again.
I haven't felt that way since then.
This is all leading to
another moment was when
to the store.
When I got Just for Laughs. I got the I was coaching an improv group. I walked out, I got the call, and I was walking down Broadway on Upper West Side, and I was just like, I got it, and I felt so optimistic, a misled optimism, I would say, because getting Just for Laughs did absolutely nothing for me, but
right
at the time, it felt like,
God,
this is so important and amazing.
Yeah, that's like a nice moment to. I'm trying to think of.
Oh my God! I would relive the roast. I would relive the roast.
Oh, yeah.
Watching you crush up there was like winning the Super Bowl.
Why wouldn't I relive it? I just wanted to stay there. That's interesting. I wouldn't want to relive anything. I'd want to maybe watch. I could watch the roast. I could watch that moment again and again and again.
Someone filmed it. I think someone filmed it, actually.
I think footage does exist. I'd have to
That's so weird. I haven't watched it.
It's I really haven't. I sent a couple clips and stuff, but I lived it, so I'm just like, I'm not interested, and there's nothing I can do. Watching it is I would only watch it if I had to edit it, and I don't even want to do that. But I will say that I would just like to go back in everyone and my friends and like my parents and like the lives of the people I love to see the moment they like saw their husband or wife for the first time. Or like what like I love hearing stories of like how people met or like when they both knew or the moment like it turned romantic. Like I watched a clip of Freddie Prinze Jr. talking about him and Sarah Michelle Gellar starting out as friends and then becoming romantic when they went on they were like just friends hanging out for 2 years and they were not into each other and then they went out with another friend. They were supposed to go out with another friend. That friend didn't show up, and then it ended up being a date. And then on that date, they drank enough that they were kind of like, "This is romantic." And then it was that, like, I love those like moments where they like it turns romantic, and that's why I've asked to hear your story of meeting Allie for the first time so many times. Avi, I feel like I know the origin. You saw pictures of him online before you met him.
No, it's actually similar to Freddie Prinze and Sarah Michelle Gellar. We were friends through the metal scene. Oh. And he came to a podcast that I was on. And at first I was just like not interested. We just were acquaintances for maybe, I think 8 years before we started dating. What? And then I was on the radio.
This is insane. I don't know this. I knew this at one point.
I met him for the first time in 2011 through a friend. Was not interested. He was in a relationship. I was in a relationship. Didn't really. But
is that why you weren't interested, or was there like you clocked it?
I thought he was cute, but I was just like, I do not want to date the frontman of any band. I was into the guitar players at that point.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So stupid. And
even though I found out recently that Noah was like truly in love with a frontman of a band named Axl Rose.
Oh, you told my secret.
You were in love with Axl Rose?
I didn't know. It was sorry, you can take it out if you don't want.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
She loved Guns N' Roses. Separate story. But let's just go back to Avi for a second.
Yes.
But she wasn't like the way I am with Taylor Swift. She was with Axl Rose.
Obsessed.
And she used to buy magazines. This is the cutest detail. I'm sorry, Noah. She used to buy, she saved up her money. This high school or middle school?
This was definitely high school where he was on the cover of Spin magazine. And it wasn't even like a recent photo of him. It was like an older one.
Sure.
And I put it in a large Ziploc bag, and whenever I would look through it, I would use tweezers.
Tweezers.
I wanted
and
to
honestly, I would have
it.
done the same thing if I had thought of that brilliant idea with Dave Matthews Band, Rolling Stone. Like I used to do the same kind of shit, so I get it. But that was so cute.
Obsession.
So okay, but you were into guitar players and Avi.
Not interested in him in that way. And then we were on You Up together, and we were talking about the book Getting to I Do. And that's when I kind of just like saw him on Instagram after years of not really paying attention to him. And then I messaged him and I did the book and I got to I Do.
Oh my God. Wait, so what, do you remember the picture you saw? Do you remember like?
It was such a stupid picture too. It was just like him in a photo with a mutual friend and he was holding a beer bottle. He was at a wedding. And I was like, oh, he looks so cute. I wonder what he's up to. And then I went to his profile. It was private. And I was like, oh, well, I got a lot of good things going on. I'm going to send him a request. It was one of those
things. As if guys
like
care that you have a lot of good things going on.
They don't care.
That was before you read the book and knew that they don't care.
They don't care. He just wanted to see hot photos of me. And yeah, and then we went on our first date in Brooklyn. I think we went to first. So I let him choose the place. It was a bar. We went to the bar and I didn't drink. So he's like, oh, can I get you a drink? I'm like, I'll just take a seltzer. And then when he realized that I don't drink, he's like, oh, this is probably not fun for you. Do you want to go get something to eat? And then we went to Buttermilk in Brooklyn. And then we just started talking about everything. And I just was like, oh my God, we have so much in common.
Yeah, and that's what I'd want footage of is a first date. I like the first date because it's like before both these people they have no idea they're going to spend the rest of their lives together.
Sure.
It's so interesting.
That's also a key veteran date move is to, if it's going well, try to change locations at least once. That's how you get confirmation that this is actually.
I didn't even
It's an
realize
indicator
that.
of interest that a girl goes to a second location with you.
Yeah, if you start off at a bar and you're getting a drink and you said you want to get something to eat, then they say yes, then you're like, okay, this is
I
going well.
loved when that would happen on dates where it was going well and you both would feel it and you'd be like, should we just keep hanging out? It's like, oh yes, same page, horny.
That's so nice.
Yes, it's so nice. That's such a fun feeling. Yeah, I think that's really what I'd be interested in is seeing.
So you're not interested in seeing your own memories. You want to see other people's memories.
Yeah.
You just want want a recording of everything on Earth.
Even with Chris and I would kind of like to see. I would like to see the look on my face after the moment I knew that I was going to pursue him and like he was going to be mine. Because I remember when I found out it was because he like I'd already kind of like noticed him, and then I found out he didn't drink, and then I found out he made a video that he didn't need to make. Just to make the hosts laugh. And when I go, who made that video? And they said Chris Convey from the darkness, because I was on stage. And they said Chris Convey. I'm sure I'm sure there's a video of it somewhere because I was on camera, but we were stopped down, so I don't think the cameras were rolling. But I just remember being like, I probably even nodded like, and that is going to be my new mission. Like I knew it. It's confirmed. He's amazing. Yep, that's my guy. That would be fun to see.
Sure.
Did you guys hide your dating when you worked together? Did you guys hide that you were dating at first?
Oh yeah, and there's nothing fucking hotter. That's why being Mormon is so hot. Like that's why being like any kind of like. I got to that in kind of like I leaped too far, but like that's why there's like porn around like Mormon and step siblings because it's taboo and it's not allowed. And so it makes it so much hotter. So yeah, we were sneaking around. We had a lot of fun, and it was all driven by moi. It was definitely it was fun, but it was like we did people didn't know, and we didn't do anything that would have like really gotten us in trouble. I say so we don't get in trouble, but like, right. We did some really like I was a sexual deviant for sure. I am. I put a fucking gummy worm in my vagina. I can be very weird when I'm in the beginning of a relationship and things are horny. Like I get pretty creative. So we had some really fun moments, but no, people didn't know, but they did. He didn't tell fucking anyone because he like doesn't need to do that kind of stuff. But everyone knew that I was like in love with him before we were even together. So when we got together, they all knew. And then I would just blush, and I would just, he would leave a room. I was so in love with him when he didn't know. He thought I hated him. He would like leave the room, and I would like fall on the floor and like make a big thing. Everyone knew except him. So it was when we got together. Yes, we had to keep it secret. And then I was like, the second we kissed, I was like, let's tell everyone we're together. Like I didn't say that, but I would have. But I had learned by then to not be like that and just be like, play it cool. See when he tells people, which would have been fucking never. People still wouldn't know if it were up to him. But yeah, eventually we got to be out with it. I don't think it was like we have to announce this to everyone or anything like that. It just like kind of naturally happened.
You just show up to places together, and then people kind of
I think it just word got out because the people I told people, and then it just trickled down. And then I think it was never something we had to announce because then the show was canceled before that happened. Yeah, it's so fun. And people are always like kind of have to tiptoe around talking about office romances because there is a power imbalance oftentimes involved.
Yeah. Or
but
sometimes
guess
you
what?
have
That's
to
how
tell.
people meet.
Sometimes you have to disclose to HR that you're in a relationship now.
Yeah, we didn't tell MTV HR at the time, Carson Daly, whoever it was that was leading that branch. No, we didn't tell anyone.
But
Except
wherever you work at MTV, you have to tell Carson Daly your relationship status.
I'm sure there is protocol for that, but I don't begrudge anyone meeting at work. That's how you fucking meet.
No.
And when people
So you
go
spend
like,
most of your time.
exactly.
Allie has a saying, don't get your honey where you get your money.
Oh, that's better than don't shit where you eat or whatever people say. That makes me just like
Don't
so
shit in
grossed
people's
out.
mouths and then ask them for a paycheck, I think.
Yeah, I hate don't shit where you eat. Okay, so don't get your honey where you get your money.
Yeah, I like that phrase.
I'll tell you though, when you're getting the honey where you get your money, it makes going to work so much fun. Oh my dear God. During the U Up days, man, when I would have a crush come in, there's nothing better than when I would like a guy would be booked to come in and like I would be interviewing him and like there's already been a vibe because we would just have comedians on and I was single at the time. And so that would be I would be skipping to fucking work that day when there's going to be like a having a crush is the best. Feeling like butterflies for someone is great. Mm-hmm. And I have it for Chris sometimes. Like, we haven't seen each other for a really long time. So recently when we've been talking, it's been like, oh, hi. Oh my God, you're such a cutie. Like, there's been a lot of
That's nice.
Yes.
that. It will never be what it was. That part of our relationship has died forever. It will never be as horny and as electric.
They'll invent the pill
Will
soon.
they please? I'm craving
so.
it. But no, we've done some, like, I think that's what role play works to
Sure, that helps. But to get chemically infatuated would be something worth pharmaceutical companies pursuing.
I've always said that if they could sell, if there was a drug that made you feel the way it feels to have a crush, I would be on Skid Row. There's no question about it. I'm lucky that I don't get crushes easily. I think they're called love addicts. I think I'm a love addict that is just too picky to have gotten like to a bad place with it. But I absolutely love the feeling of having a crush so much. And then I recently felt there was something that reminded me of it that I was like, oh, there was like an album or something that felt crush like in my infatuation with it. And then I got rejected by it in some way recently. And the feeling came back to me of like when you like someone and they don't like you. And it's on the other side of the crush feeling is a devastation.
Oh, it's so bad.
Of rejection or a loss when you just know a crush isn't going to work out. One time this guy, we had been back and forth so many times and I thought there was like a vibe between us and fucking Ian Fidance was like, I felt it, Nikki. He totally is into you. And so he's like, send him a text. Like, make it happen tonight. Just say what like is on your mind. And he's like, tell him the truth. And I like wrote him like, you looked cute tonight. Or like I took it like we were like friends again after having been romantic. And then it was like we were just friends now. But I was like, are we though? I still like him. So I wrote like, you look cute tonight. And he instantly called me and was like, Nikki, no. This is never going to happen again. This door is like, he pretty much was like, this door is shut. Like he was very nice about it. So honestly, so nice about it. But it felt horrible. It's so embarrassing to get rejected. But it happens to people all the time. It's
very common.
You can't not in life. You have to put yourself out there.
Or you could take no swings.
Nikki, no. I thought he was picking up the phone to be like, let's do it. Meet me on the corner. And it's like, Nikki, no. He literally goes, Nikki, no. Like, bad girl. And I'm like, oh man, that's the opposite of what turns me on. Noah, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that I don't like, it's only one time that I had to be on the other end of that. The person being like, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not doing this.
Yes.
It was so uncomfortable, but I have to say it like propelled our friendship to this other branch. And now it's like someone who I'm so close with. Yeah. And he's one of my dearest friends.
I've been the no, it's never going to happen. And it's led to some great friendships too. I can't recall any of them because they all fell off as soon as actually one of my closest friends who I won't reveal, used to have a crush on me. And it was to the point where it was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't talk about my life with you because you seem to be so angry that, like when you're a girl, you want to talk about guys, even to your guy friends, even though they're bored by it. But at least they're not angry about it. But this guy would get like, I could just tell it was hurting him. And And now it's like so much time has passed that I don't even consider that we had to go do our separate things. But now it's like we were different people, and we were. That's the truth of it. Is that and I think I could be friends with. The thing is though, you just don't become friends with men when everyone's partnered up. You don't make new male friendships. Sorry, ladies. You don't get new, like, you can be grandfathered in,
yes.
but you're not making new friends. And it's not because of your jealous boyfriend. It's sometimes because of their jealous partner, but it's also sometimes not because of either of those. It's just like, it's rare if it happens. I'll say that. But I don't think it's happening. New friends, sus.
I certainly don't have any new female friends that aren't like my friend's wife.
Here's a great point that I'm going to frustrate people about, but I've thought this through a lot. I'm going to go to break and I'll tell you after that. Here's the thing. When you are two people of the opposite sex and you're both straight and you're best friends or good friends or whatever, and then one of you gets a partner, it's weird when you tell it's a little bit weird to go hang out with that friend and tell the partner, like, I'm not hanging out with you, I'm going to hang out with this other guy, or vice versa, right? I'm not hanging out with you, girlfriend, I'm going to go hang out with this girl who's my friend that I hung out with before we were together. And then she's like, and if you don't invite them, it seems like you're doing something naughty. Even though if it was another girlfriend, your boyfriend wouldn't give a fuck and he'd be glad not to be invited and wouldn't want to go. That's fine. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. You're a friend, two friends, opposite sex, both straight, and now this guy got a girlfriend. Now this girl, to hang out with this guy, must always now hang out with the girlfriend in order to hang out with the guy. Otherwise, it's sus, and the girlfriend's going to start hating you. But sometimes, and you might love the girlfriend. Honestly, she might be great. And people are maybe going to try to be like, this is about Andrew and Brett. I've formed this opinion long before anything. And even before Chris, like, and me making new guy friends. Sometimes though, I don't know, Noah, if you and I are hanging out and you were like, I have to bring Avi, I'd be like, what? I like Avi, but I like our dynamic. It's what I'm used to. And like, we're going to talk in a different way than I'm going to talk around your fucking partner. And that's not because I don't like him or want to hang out with him. But imagine, but friends that are male and female, they can't ever hang out without the partner being there. And you might go, well, what's wrong with the partner being there? Here's what's wrong. It just changes the dynamic. It's nothing against the partner. It's just like you never get your old dynamic again unless they're out of town, which then feels like sneaky for a reason it shouldn't be.
I used to be guilty of this. Like, I would bring my boyfriend everywhere. This is like when I was really young in relationships and didn't know any better. But I think through Esther Perel and her like thought and stuff, like, I realized you need to have your autonomy. You got to have your own friendships. You can't have your partner in everything that you do. It's just like they can't be everything for you. That's why you need other people. But I think it's rare.
It is looked down upon to hang out with a man alone when your boyfriend is available to hang.
Right. And vice versa.
It looks like something fishy might be happening, and vice versa. It just is weird, and it shouldn't be, but it is. And Chris, I do think it just speaks to how secure you are in your relationship. And no offense to people that get jealous of that. Like, I think that I don't care if Chris hangs out with a girl. I know everyone knows that I don't even care if he would to be doing other things with a girl, but Chris also doesn't care if I hang out with male friends that I was friends with before. If I made a new male friend, he might be like, what? And that's kind of sucks because I like being friends with men, but it's not because of Chris. It's society. It's not Chris. I
mean, I've hung out with girls that are friends that I was friends with before Allie. I'll like go to a lunch with like my friend Christina, and we'll just chat. Or is
Allie at work, or is Allie free on this Saturday to also go to this lunch?
She's free, and I don't think it's a problem. Like, Chris has his friend Nick. Sometimes he hangs out with Nick. Yeah,
and I'm saying, and I don't care. But I'm different. I'm saying that more people need to get on. I'm not trying to be like, I'm the cool girl, because I know it comes across like that. Like, I'm different than other girls. But I do think that it should be allowed more.
Yeah.
But I will say, if he made a new girlfriend,
right.
I'd at least want
And
to
then
be. I'd be like,
and then you're
why
like, I'm just
don't you
gonna
want
go,
me there?
If
I
it
make
was
it
like,
better.
I've got
Razzle
a new
dazzle.
girlfriend.
You got
and I'm gonna
steamrolled,
go-
bitch. Razzle dazzle. Yeah.
If you're, I think it depends on the hang. Like if you're like, I'm gonna go watch a movie at her place.
Oh,
That's
what
no
the
good.
fuck?
Yeah, no, that's no good.
Yeah,
but if you're like,
that's
I'm gonna
not
go to
good.
lunch with this person who's also maybe in your industry too. Like that's, I feel like totally
Yeah,
fine.
okay, but
Yes.
industry, no. Then you're making something it about work, and you're excusing that friendships can only exist if there's work involved.
Yeah,
if there's,
yeah.
but that's not true. People should be able to be friends with the opposite sex and still be attracted to the opposite sex and not be accused of being attracted to that person and be able to have an independent friendship. And I believe that I do. I honestly do think that I have that with Chris. And if I did meet a new guy that I wanted to be friends with, Chris would be friends with him because Chris is fun to hang out with.
Well,
so it
Chris
wouldn't
can be friends
hard.
with
Okay.
anybody.
I just answered my own question. Final thought.
I have a final thought. Can I say a final thought? Because I'd be
Oh
remiss
yeah, we
not
didn't
to
even get to
mention
Utah
this.
or Noah's
fine.
thing. Yes.
So I saw Axl Rose last week.
No, you did not.
I did. I saw Axl Rose last week. So I went to the Intuit Dome to see Billy Joel. My second time seeing Billy Joel. He's my Taylor Swift. I'm going to see him a third time. I'm going to see Billy Joel a third time in Vegas in just a couple of weeks. 'cause my
That's
mom's
so
going.
exciting. Billy Joel was actually at the Miami show that I was at and went backstage and met Taylor.
Really?
His kids. Yeah. There's a
Wow.
picture I saw last night. It's so cute.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so
Billy
you saw
Joel's
Billy.
great.
Yeah.
So Billy Joel had a couple of special guests come out during the show. One of them, it's so funny because one of them was John Mayer. And I've seen John Mayer make a surprise special guest appearance at 4 different concerts now. And one time at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, wow. See, that's
Yeah.
an unmarried man
Yeah, there you go.
without kids.
He played a good guitar solo,
That's
but
true.
me and Allie were just like, I cannot fucking believe it's John Mayer. Because when he's like, we got a very special guest, and we're like, ooh, who are we going to see? I'm surprised he didn't come out. Did he come out at the Super Bowl? No, he didn't, right?
Now this is going to be a fun thing for you guys. It's got next time it happens, you're
It's
going to
been
go
4 times.
It's John Mayer. Like you'll say it together with the person who says it,
That
and it'll
pretty
be
much
so
happened
gratifying.
to Billy Joel.
Wow. What
but
did they
then-
sing together or play together? Sorry.
A Billy Joel song.
Okay.
I forgot which one. But then he brought out a second special guest to sing Live and Let Die, Paul McCartney's song.
Fun.
I know. And the special guest was Axl Rose to sing it.
I thought you were going to say Paul McCartney.
That would have been better.
That's
but
really cool.
I know. It was really cool.
That song rules, and I bet Axl fucking tore that song up.
Yeah, he did a good job. He did a good job.
I think
It's like in his range, or it used
Yeah.
we used to be in his range. I'm sure.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
voice
It
has
wasn't
just
quite
burned.
like, Guns N' Roses era singing, but it was still
How's Billy
good.
Joel's voice?
Amazing.
Still, just
I
sounds.
can't believe it. Yeah, it's like
Amazing.
one of my favorite bands to go would be to ever go see would be Simon and Garfunkel. But I know if I saw Simon and Garfunkel now, I'd be like, the vocals just aren't hitting the mark. That because they're so vocal
Right,
heavy.
they're so about the vocals. Yes.
Billy Joel, I was worried before I went to see him the first time that his voice would not match the recordings, and it's like it's not just as good, but it's pretty close.
That's incredible.
He puts on a show.
That's awesome. And Noah, when you hear that he saw Axl Rose, does that send your heart aflutter? Like, do you still get
No.
like it doesn't excite you at
I'm
all? You're
over it.
totally over it.
I'm so
You're
over it
over
after
Axl
meeting him.
Rose?
I
Oh,
snuck
you met him.
Meeting him.
Yes, I snuck into Madison Square Garden when he came back. Like the fake Guns N' Roses band back in like 2000 something. I snuck in backstage, met him at a party, and after that, it just like I was like, I don't care about this guy anymore. Why was I obsessed with him?
What
And
was
it's
the
not
interaction?
It's not
that
anything
made
he
you-
did. He was
'Cause he
very
was nice to you,
sweet.
right?
He was very nice to me, but it was just like this person that I was craving him so badly, and then once you satisfy the craving, you meet them, and then I was just
Oh God,
I don't
I
know,
used to crave
deflated.
someone so badly, like that. I mean, obsessed, and I got to hook up with him, and I
Whoa.
remember it's unreal, like teenage fantasy, not literally. Teenage. It was like probably 19, 20. Were the ages where I was
No, I thought
so in love with this
the year
person.
was 1920.
1920.
It was about 1920.
the golden age.
That was my teenage fantasy.
I was either 19 or 20, and I was desperately in love
Was
with
it Charlie
this person.
Chaplin?
No, it was. And look at me. I can't think of a single other person that was famous in 1920.
Well,
Wait, hold
hard.
on. Let me see if I can get it. Hold on. Buster Keaton.
I mean, I think, yeah, Buster Keaton. I think so.
Yeah, I think that's one.
So.
Okay, that was good. That was good. Good job, Nikki.
Yeah, he was in The General in 1926.
Fuck yes,
His most
dude.
famous film.
I nailed it.
You totally nailed
Razzle-dazzle.
it. Razzle-dazzle.
Okay, so, but yeah, I remember I got to hook up with him. I like found a way to make it happen. And this wasn't someone that was just so extraordinarily famous or anything, but he was like enough of a star that I could really like, oh my God, if I ever, and I did. And I remember just in the middle of it, not even the middle, the very beginning of it, being literally saying in my mind as if I was filming a movie, this is it. Like in that tone.
Yes.
Like the end of Boyhood?
Is
No, the
it?
end of, is it Boyhood? The Richard
almost
Linklater
laughed.
movies.
Oh, really?
At the end
there
of
like
those ones where it's like, yeah, I think it's Boyhood, where the mom at the end, it's an incredible scene where she's at the end of she's in her 60s or something, and she goes, this is it. Like, she's not happy, even though then they show that she inspired all these people and stuff, but she's still not satisfied.
No, it was
That
like I
is
was
it.
filming The Office, and it was like I did a look to camera like Jim, like why did I do this? Like I remember being so self-aware. I remember every single second and moment of that hookup because it started to become like, oh, I can't believe the pedestal I had this person on. It was awesome. It was awesome, and the story around it is so funny.
Obviously, you cannot say who it is.
No,
but is there any little crumb? For speculation
I've already
purposes
given
only.
dates. I've already given dates, and that's enough for people to probably like your sleuthing will not give you the answer because I'm not going to give you enough that you will ever be able to like actually validate it. So no more information. If you piece together every podcast I've done in my whole life, you could AI could probably scan other podcasts and put together this person. But
Okay.
But I just remember, and it wasn't because this person was a terrible hookup or something. It just, and I think we've all felt that in ways where we like romanticize what it would be like to kiss this person. Then you do, and you're just like, this isn't like it.
Yeah,
I
we
was
put them on a
living
pedestal.
Fleabag. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how
But I just
dangerous would it have been if they did meet the moment and they blew your fucking mind?
Oh, well, I've also had that where with Chris, it was like that. Because in Chris, I was obsessed with, like, in a way that, like, the same part of me that loves Taylor Swift, like, crushes on guys. Like, I get as obsessive and, like, detail oriented. And, like, did you hear him say this? And then, like, I like to, like, I'm a Swiftie in every part of my life when I get up into something. And so with Chris, I had fantasized about it and thought about it so many fucking times. And I knew based on my whole existence that I would always build up these crushes and then I would finally get with them. And then I would instantly be like, I don't like this anymore.
Yep.
But with Chris, it was so hot. It was so on. It was so exciting. It was so electric. It was everything I wanted to be. That's why as soon as we kissed, I jumped into a cab. He was like, I didn't even know like what was going on because you were in a cab so fast after we kissed because I didn't want anything to ruin the moment and like take me out of it. I was just like, I got what I wanted. This is as high as I'm going to get and I can't get any higher. And yeah. And then I also think though that the reason I kept liking him even after we hooked up was because, the reason I used to not like guys when we would hook up is because I would be like, oh, he likes me. And like, this is boring now. And I don't think Chris liked me. Right away. And I think deep down I knew that. And I think he would admit that. Like, he was still a challenge for me. And so I was still interested. It took me many years, I would say until May of 2024, until I was like willing to accept that it's very comfortable to have someone love you and not have to be like pursuing them and just like let it in. And that's all I'll say on that. And we'll find out about Utah next week. And also a bestie slid into your DMs, Noah.
Yes.
Can I just answer it real quick?
Sure. So basically, I got a DM from Kelsey, and she wanted me to let you know she's a huge bestie. She's been to like 12 of your shows.
What?
And her and her friend Lauren are going to your Memphis show, and Lauren is having a divorce party, and she's celebrating her divorce. So we want to say congratulations.
God, that's so exciting. Congratulations. It's so hard to divorce. It's so easy to just stay. There's so much to go through.
As Louis would say, there's no such thing as a bad divorce.
That's such a good line. It's so good. And it's so hard to do. You're so strong to go through it. And to leap into the unknown and also feel like a failure. That's, you know what? Whoa. Okay, hold the fucking phone. I just uncovered something. Weddings are so over the top to discourage you from divorcing because it is so embarrassing to throw a ceremony where you declare your love to everyone you know and you spend all of this money and you rent out this venue and you hire a band and you have fly-in people from all over, even sick old grandma, and then you throw it all away. What was all that for? That's embarrassing. You're an idiot that you just did all that. They are purposely designed to discourage people from divorcing. I truly believe that.
The church.
It shames you. Yes, it's part of the church. We'll design a wedding, an event that makes it so you feel like this is so locked in and you'll be humiliated.
And you have to
then take it
vow
all
before your government, before your God.
Guys, go easy on your weddings out there.
Yeah.
Make it so that if you take it back in a couple, like you don't have to stay any, because some people have a wedding and I think they want out within 2 months, but they go, I gotta at least wait a year.
Yeah.
And then a year, they're like, it's still too soon. It feels weird. We just got the pictures back because pictures take forever to get back.
And you just
then
cash those checks.
And then they say 2 years because usually when I ask people about their divorce and I go, how long did you stay? They go, I was married for 7 years, but divorced. And I go, so it was good for 2 years? And they're like, yeah. It was good the 7 years and then we called it quits. Ever. So good on you for finally pulling the plug. I'll see you in Memphis. Thanks for plugging that date too. For me, I don't know when I'm going to be there, but it's going to be November. A fun night. And I hope I remember. Noah, I hope if you could remind me to maybe say something that night at that show. That'd be fun. I'm on the road, guys. So many new tour dates announced. So exciting. So many new places I'm going to. Check it out, nikkiglaser.com. Come see me on tour. You know I love when I meet you. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I love you, besties. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Noah. Don't be good. Bye.